Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Patient Conversations with Leah. Today is episode 2 in our three-part series with John and his diagnosis and journey thus far with young lung cancer. Last time we spoke, we talked kind of about just his journey in general, the treatment options that were presented in his second opinion and whatnot. Today we're going to focus on kind of his personal life and how this diagnosis has not only affected him, but also his family members. So today, John, welcome back, and we'll just jump right in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your family? Who is your support system, I guess?
Obviously my wife Esmeralda, and I have a 3-year-old daughter Natalia. So that's in the house. That's my immediate support system right there. So they've been, I don't know where I'd be without them. And obviously I have my family of my mother, my father. I have 2 sisters and a brother, extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins. Esmeralda has a big family as well. Both of her parents, a lot of siblings, cousins. So a lot of help
Good.
has
That's
come
good.
our way. Even before, our family's been really great with each other. So, but even with this, it's been great all
That's
for the
great.
most part. A lot of support.
A support system is definitely key in all of this. So when we think about your family, let's start about with your wife and just kind of tell if you could tell me or share with us just how this has affected her and maybe even your relationship.
It's hard to tell because I don't know if she kind of wants to express herself too much in that sense. I think that she understands I'm going through a lot myself, so I can tell that she probably just internalizes a lot, and does the best that she can. Um, and my daughter, for the most part, she doesn't know what's going on essentially. But
Yeah.
my wife, she's been great. I I don't really ask her too much about what she's feeling because I don't know.
It's
Uh,
hard.
it's hard because I don't want to. It's hard to explain,
Oh,
because
I get it.
I know you get it. It's just because it's a lot to manage because there's so much going on every week, every couple of weeks or so, and it's like with my balancing work and my daughter's school and everything. It's just I wish we talked about it more. It's probably something that we should work on. But my wife, on the surface, she seems to be handling it really well for the most part. She's the anchor right now. For the most part, I tried to do my best to make it 50-50, and now it's changed where she's taken a lot of the burden, and it stinks because um
There's guilt associated with that.
absolutely, absolutely. And it'll feel good. I have to do chemo for a little bit and maybe have more energy to be able to pick up the slack. I try to help where I can, but when the fatigue sets in, especially around chemo time, it's just I can tell my wife's really feeling it because
It's just it's a lot. It's a heavy load. It's a heavy load to care for our caregiver. Like my husband, I feel like he picks up the slack a lot of times when he's already got his own stuff. He's got his own job and things he's dealing with too. And it is hard to talk about it. I don't know if you would agree or not, but I feel like with Todd and I don't want to share what I'm feeling or going through because I don't want him to worry about me.
right.
And sometimes I think he doesn't want to tell me
Mhm.
what's he's kind of thinking because he doesn't want to burden me,
Right.
make me feel worse or guilty. And it's definitely a dance that you have to do. And I will say, I've been at this over 5 years now.
Right.
At times are better about talking about it than other times. I think, when you get good news, it's easy to talk about it.
Mhm.
I remember we found out I was qualified for surgery and we went back to the Rotary House that's attached to MD Anderson. And we were sat there and we were like, oh my goodness, we can't believe we're here. Like we just won
Right.
the lottery and, we celebrated and all the things, but it's really hard.
Mhm.
And I think probably the further you get down the road, you just celebrated 1 year of your cancerversary. So those topics and those conversations will come into play a
Yeah.
little bit more. You're so young.
Right.
40 years old is so young. I was
Right.
43 when I was diagnosed. And I know a hard part for me was watching my parents watch me,
Right.
and as a father and as a mother, we know how much you love your children. So how do
Mhm.
you think that this has affected your parents?
My mom, it's similar to with my wife. My mom doesn't want to say too much about how she's feeling, but I could tell. And she does let things slip out from time to time where I could tell that she's going through it, you know? So it's tough. But I mean, my mom would always call me every day before diagnosis, but now it's like it's ticked up to like multiple times per day to check on me, which is, I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, but I mean, from like calling me from the afternoon to dinner time. I mean, nothing's really happened. I'm just the same person I was 6 hours ago. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything to add. I feel
Yeah,
good.
I think that it's just I think there's a sense of like relief, I
Hmm.
think, for them when they do
Yeah.
talk to us and hear our voices and hear it's okay. I mean, I know I can speak as a parent, and you probably can too. You know, when something's going on with your child, it's always in the forefront of your mind. Like, how are they feeling? How are they doing? You know, whatever. And has something this big, I'm sure is something like that for them. And therefore, I think the talking to us and seeing us, my mom will get kind of like down if she hasn't seen me. You know, she's like, I haven't seen you in a week.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, you know, and I feel terrible. It's just, you know, like you've got a thousand things going on
Right.
as well. So
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. And my dad, I mean, similar to the male mentality, doesn't really say much. I mean, he kind of like views it as he'll help where he can. I mean, just ask for help. I mean, it's par for everyone else in my circle, you know, just ask for help and they'll be there type thing. But it's interesting because I had a feeling way back when I was probably like a teenager. So I always thought like a premonition that I would get cancer someday. I hope that it doesn't sound, I don't know if that sounds weird or not,
Nope.
because my dad's parents both passed away from cancer. My maternal grandmother, she passed away from cancer. So it was just always something that was always in the back of my mind. I was like, I didn't think it was going to happen this soon, though.
Right. Or this way with lung cancer.
Right. So it's something that I think about. I put myself in my dad's shoes, like, because he lost his father when he was probably like early to mid 30s. My grandfather was 60 when he passed away. And I never met him, but I did have my grandmother around, and she passed away when I was in high school. And my maternal grandmother, she passed away after I finished college. So seeing them go through what they went through, I mean, at least my grandmothers, I mean, it's different for me. Like we talked about, like we're still active, still doing stuff. Might have fatigue here and there, but it's like something that it feels different than what
Hmm.
I saw them go through.
Right. Yeah. I think, you know, the biggest difference with this early onset cancer, I mean, it's happening in lung cancer and breast cancer and colon cancer across the board, is that we're this sandwich generation. We're caring for our children and raising children,
Mhm,
living in our prime,
mhm.
but we're also having to look at our parents and, you know, starting to take care of them. You know, they're needing us more. I mean, we always joke that we're IT over here. Like, you know, iPad doesn't work, we get the phone calls, you know, all those kind
That's
of things.
me. That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm always like
Yeah.
buying stuff on Amazon for them and the internet,
Yes.
just the things to
Yes.
expedite things.
And then that makes you think like, you know, I can't not be here. That's a role I fill too. So
Exactly.
I get that too. And I know you said your daughter is young and she
Yeah.
doesn't really know what's going on, but have you all had to have any kind of conversation like dad's not feeling well, or does she just kind of
That's the phrase that she uses a lot. Like, "Daddy's not feeling well. Daddy's not feeling well." Like, and I guess it's something that my wife probably says, and she just picks up on. But she'll say that to like whoever comes over the house, like, "My daddy's not feeling well," but
love her heart?
she doesn't understand the whole thing. Yeah,
She's way too
obviously,
young.
she's way too young.
Yeah. When I had asked you some questions prior to this episode, and one of the things you brought up is fertility.
Mhm.
For a lot of us that are, you know, early onset cancer, fertility is a big deal. Like maybe you weren't finished, you know, adding to your family, or maybe you never started. I mean, obviously you all have one child. So just tell me a little bit about how this has affected kind of your family planning and your fertility.
Luckily, I don't know what prompted me to do this, but prior to, because my first oncologist did bring up the Tagrisso to me just briefly, so had an idea of like the name and everything, so I was able to like look it up online, you know. And I, for some reason, I don't know why, but I just searched like Tagrisso and fertility, and it said, and it popped up. Like I essentially would not be able to procreate after taking this, you know? And I talked to my first oncologist about this and was like, is this true? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, what should I do? Should I start like banking? He was like, I mean, if you want to have a family, like more children, that's something I would suggest. And like week after, I was just like, I went to my fertility clinic and started banking. And thank God I did that. I feel like because we're in the process. So hopefully June, we'll start moving on that. So I'm glad that we didn't miss out on that, at least to try, you know?
Try. Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting that you were the one that had to bring that up.
Yeah, I know. He didn't bring it up. He is like, he took a moment to think about it. He was like, well, yeah, I mean, and you'll have to use protection if
Yeah.
you're together. So it's just something I was just like, okay. I mean, I'm glad I asked this because it didn't seem
Yes.
like it was going to be something that was going to be brought up.
Right. I mean, that's the hard part. We were finished having children. My husband was diagnosed with cancer 18 months before I was, with prostate cancer. So we were finished having children, but no one ever even asked about it. And I always think, like, what if I were 30? What if I were 27? What if I were these 18-year-olds?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like this should be in the handbook. Like, you tell them what their diagnosis is, you tell them the possible treatment, and then we talk about this. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's because there has been so much gloom and doom around lung cancer, like
Right.
it's not going to
Um,
matter. You know, when I
right.
was first diagnosed, I was told 6 to 12 months, and clearly
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to have a baby in 6 to 12 months. But now that people are living longer, there's no reason. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've watched the patient conversation that I did with Stephen Huff. He's added to his family,
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
and
I
he's
did.
wonderful. And, you know, here he is so many years later enjoying these children, and the children are enjoying
God
him.
forbid he missed out on that.
Right, right. So,
Yeah,
well,
and
I
that
so
was
glad you asked.
ironic. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No, no, no.
my my last meeting with Dr. Anoff at MD Anderson, that was like her first question. One of her first questions was like, what's your plan with more children? Is that something that you're looking into? And she did bring it up, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I banked right away. And she's like, that's good, that's good, that's good. So I was just like, at least some doctors are bringing it up, you know?
Yeah, I think these, like I hear a lot coming from Dana Farber, especially Dr. Flores. She's a big proponent of, preserving fertility and sexual health, and MD Anderson. So I'm hoping that those bigger name places are going to start trickling down to some of these other institutions, because, everybody needs to at least know their options. Maybe they
Right,
don't, maybe they're fine with it, and that's okay too. But
right.
just to at least have the information or the option. But I tell everybody, like, my second opinion oncologist at Bandy, she said to me, my husband asked, what's the life expectancy? Because we had already been told in Louisville 6 to 12 months. And she said, oh, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's our hope. And I was kind of like, 2 years, we have little kids. And she took my hands and she said, I have to tell you 2 years because statistically that's what we know.
Mm-hmm.
She said, but Tagrisso is only FDA approved, a year or so ago. We
Right,
don't have the long-term data. And she said, the only thing you need to focus on is getting to the next treatment.
right,
She said, because as long as you can stay on one and then you have another option and you have another option, she said, my goal is to make this a chronic illness,
right.
not a terminal disease. And that has always stuck with me. And when I hear from patients that are, so worried about progression or how long they're going to be able to take a drug, I mean, they told me 2 to 3 years max on Tagrisso, and it's been 5 years and almost 6 months. So
Yeah,
you just never know. And I just have to hang on to Tagrisso as long as I can until the next thing.
exactly.
So I think that's a good way to frame things for sure. Otherwise, you would drive yourself crazy with worry about,
When's
how
it
long
gonna
you're
run
going to live.
out?
And
Like, when's it gonna stop working? Like,
right, right, right. So, well, I really appreciate you sharing this with us today, because these are some very personal thoughts and journeys. And I know all of us at Young Lung Cancer Initiative will have to do a follow up once you have this baby. The good news, I'm just
yeah.
going to think positively that's going to happen.
I mean, let's
And
pray that it works out.
we're going to pray that it works. That's right, because that would be pretty awesome, pretty
Yeah.
amazing. So thank you again for being here today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Leah.
No problem. And for those of you at home, again, make sure if you didn't see our first episode that you go back and watch our first episode with John. And then this is a 3-part series. So there will be a third episode that we're going to talk about mental health. And as we all know, there's lots of issues that come along with mental health and cancer diagnosis, especially at a young age. So like and follow us so you can easily locate that, because it's not one you're going to want to miss.